while I'm sad. You've been out all night, know you've been bad. Don't tell me different, know it's a lie. Come to me, honey, see how I cry.
Welcome to the Recovery Show, Gurney. That's me. Today we're going to talk about step 3, but rather than what I did before, where I talked about it from the addict's point of view, I'm going to talk about it from the point of view from those around me, support people, and that because they're part of that power that's greater than ourselves. And step 3 goes to this: made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of this power of our own understanding. Now, for those that are dealing with somebody that's an addict, you knew you couldn't do anything to stop them. So you've been in that place a lot longer than the addict who finally is starting to work on clean time. Because as much as you try to help them, there's a point at which you get to it and you say, I can't do anymore. I can't facilitate it, which would be bad for their addiction, and I can't be there while they're doing this to themselves. And you hope, and you say, okay, it's in God's hands. It's in the hands of people who have the skills to help them. It's in the hands of God, and for many, it's in the hands of their faith, of their God being that they refer to as God, and that's the way it is for me, and for many people in the Christian community. They say, okay, I can't do it, so now it's time to say, okay, God, take control. I'm giving it to you because I can't do anything about it. And since I can't do anything about it, I have to admit that there's a power out there that can do something about it and that can help. And at that point, they're not only looking for help for the addict, they're looking for help for themselves. Because if you're a parent, or if you're a friend or a spouse, some connection with this individual that's got an addiction, you really want them back, but you know that you can't do it alone. And you know that it's going to be a struggle. And you've fought over time, probably over the addiction, and you've seen it destroy them. And sometimes you don't see it. As for the gambling, you don't normally see it until it's too late, or till it's a point where there's a lot of work to do to rebuild, and a lot of hurt and stuff. So that higher power that can handle it and help you handle it, and that is needed, and that's a lot of times that's a support person for you. In Gamblers Anonymous, there's also Yamanon, which is the same as Al-Anon for Alcoholics Anonymous. It's for the people that are family and friends and around them that just don't know what to do anymore, and they need a support group. That means that they get the same kind of support as the addict, really, because you go in there and you spill your guts. You realize the things that they're going through, and a lot of people don't seem to understand that. Well, you can't control what the addict's doing, and in recovery, you can't rush it. You still need help to get through it to the point where you'll be able to be there for them when they are in that process. But you also need to have people that are there for you as well, because if you aren't taking care of yourself, then how can you take care of somebody else? And how can you be a help to somebody else if it's all on your shoulders and you don't have a support system, a faith system that allows you to pray and say, hey, in my recovery as an addict, I would pray in those early days, God, help me to take control of what I can, but not to overdo it. And this brings us back to the short version of serenity prayer that most anonymous groups make. and Celebrate Recovery and some of the other groups, they use a much longer version of this. But think about this. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. Okay, that's the things that you can't change how fast somebody's going to get better or if they're going to get better. Okay, the courage to change the things I can, and that's our perspective on it. The way we look at this person as we're trying to be there for them. And then the wisdom to know the difference. We have to know the difference between what we can change and what we can't change. And only then can we allow God to help us do what we can and be wise enough not to overstep. Not to do something that we want to change and we're going to push and push and push and push to get it to change, even though we have no way of making it happen. And a lot of times that ends up being very destructive. So knowing that difference for both the addict and for the person that is they're hoping for the recovery and being happy about the recovery. I mean, think about it. When your loved one, and when the person that you care about is out of their addiction and they're in recovery, aren't they there more? Aren't they around you more? And that's something that is changed by their decision to start the process. That's also part of your being able to see that there is a change coming. Even if it's a slow one, it's there. So for today, think about that serenity prayer. Think about the different things that you can change, you can't change, and let God handle the rest. And allow you to be aware of what you can and can't do. And and also if your power is found in community, make sure you keep that community going. Because if you keep it going, you'll have the wisdom to work through. Thank you.